Iraqi news, welcome of you ladies and gentlemen. Now let's start with the recent updates. Around 500 international figures and state leaders have participated in the Munich Conference for Security. This conference witnessed the presence of Haidar al-Abadi according to an invitation by the German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Thus, al-Abadi would be making a few meetings accordingly, starting with the U.S. Vice President and General Secretary of Arab State League, in addition to other foreign and defense ministers of the attendant countries. Al-Abadi ought to state a few lines upon the victories and sacrifices achieved by the Iraqis in their fight against Daesh.
As Iraqis, it is very important letting the whole world keep on its support to us, fighting terrorism, also to show our sacrifices and victories against it, which have never been achieved before. We fight together, united as one, in the shade of the efforts exerted by volunteers, security forces, federal police, Peshmerga and Hashd al-Sha'bi or popular mobilization units. This proves that all Iraqis are fighting this terrorist enemy all together. Hence, in Iraq, we kill terrorism that threats the whole wide world, and thus we need to show our victories and keep having all the support to destroy Daesh once and for all, and any other terrorist groups.
Fighting Daesh in Iraq and Syria were the main discussed topic in a meeting held by Washington and led by the U.S. Defense Minister James Mattis, with other defense ministers of 27 states that are included in the international coalition. This meeting also emphasized on the campaign unleashed against Daesh in these two countries, along with a 2017 decided military plan to be applied, said the spokesman of the U.S. Defense Ministry, Sarah Higgins. International condemnations upon the recent bombings that have targeted the civilians south of Baghdad on Thursday, starting from the UN General Representative in Iraq, Jan Kopich, who said that terrorists are still committing massacres against civilians in the country. On the same matter, a French Foreign Ministry expressed its condemnation on terrorist attacks, confirming its support to Iraq. Also, Turkish Foreign Ministry announced its solidarity with Iraq upon the same incident. A conference to be held in Geneva, sponsored by Wanted Figures for Judgment in Iraq. This conference aims at dividing Iraq and initiating Sunni regions supported by external powers. This project's intention is so crystal clear that this conference would cause severe troubles to Iraq, said the head of the Iraqi parliament.
I have received an invitation to attend Geneva conference, yet I have refused, for I believe that Iraqi issues are to be discussed internally, especially the odds that may follow the end of the fight against Daesh. This ought to be dealt by Iraqi internal figures exclusively.
Now we go to the economic issue in Iraq, where the government has made a few procedures and applied a new upgrades to improve the performance of the local economical fact of the country, said the spokesman of the Prime Minister's media office, Saad al-Hadithi.
The decisions which have been taken by the government resulted in the following, coming to start from the government cement factories, which to be turned from non-profitable to profitable companies in Karbala, Basra, Al-Muthanna and Kirkuk, by investing contracts with the private sector to rehabilitate it. Also to support the Iraqi economy by providing sums of currencies that would reach $600 million annually, spent on importing cement previously, and to enhance the national industry and cement factories. Both the the public and private sectors, which were suffering from unfair competition against imported cement. We're to mention that the local production capacity and the Iraqi factories' sales of cement material have been increased by 40% than it was before applying these new upgrades, also restoring the confidence of the citizen and the Iraqi consumer of the local products. Those were invaded by the imports of poor materials of cement that led to many serious problems. In addition to that, the lack of cement is no more existed in the Iraqi market, and the price of a ton of cement would not exceed 100,000 Iraqi dinars. Thus, no lackness were recorded recently.
Also, economic-wise, oil tankers company is in need to exert efforts to be balanced with the achievements of the national product and the increase of the country's oil and gas exports. This came in a meeting led by the oil minister in Basra, indicating that the ministry is exerting remarkable efforts to rehabilitate the company's structure, aiming at improving its work by building big modern fleet for oil tankers, which will result in noticeable incomes for the country. Now we go to a more joyful news where remarkable art and literature shows presentations have been seen recently in Al-Farahidi Street in Basra. This street is considered as a cultural forum for many educational people, and figures would be visiting for some quality time each Friday. Now, also, Al-Mutanabbi and Farahidi are very joyful places to visit each Friday, and that is a joyful news indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.